welcome to your April Q&A with the 9th Dimension Arcturian Council. My name is Yvonne, and you can find me on Instagram at the .unravel collective, where every month I ask my followers to submit questions either for the collective or for personal guidance, where I then channel the 9th Dimension Arcturian Council, and they offer us beautiful, loving guidance to help us. This month we're going to be covering everything from self-doubt to practicing non-attachment and releasing control, to how do we heal the planet on an individual level, and how do we know when we are receiving a spiritual download. So if any of these things are of interest to you, please stay tuned. Now, normally I record these videos at the Nashville Center for Alternative Therapy studio, where I do acupuncture and Reiki, but that wasn't available today, and I'm at home in my bedroom. Right there, you can meet our leopard gecko named Pepper. We have a repairman in our kitchen today. I am here in the bedroom. I'm going to be reading some of the transmission off of my laptop, which is lower than normal, so I'm going to be looking down, just so you know. And then I'm also going to be sharing actual clips of the channeling with you, so that you can hear direct guidance and direct frequency of the 9th Dimension Arcturian Council as well. So let's get started. Okay, question number 1 is by @Tiana Gidley, and she asks, what can we do on an individual level to heal our planet and race? And here is part of what they said, and then we'll share a little bit of clip. So here's what they started with. The first thing we would like to do is acknowledge you for this question and for being the gentle soul that you are, that you would ask this beautiful question for the planet and for humanity. It goes to show what a brave and courageous soul you are for being on the earth plane at this time, so that you may contribute your unique frequency to this plane in which you have chosen to be here to contribute to the healing of the planet and humanity. Simply by asking this question, you are already emitting a frequency in which there is a space provided for healing and for humanity to step into this space, for you are creating a thought or an idea of healing that is possible for the planet and humanity at large. And when you think about this as an idea or a thought that you're creating, the fact that you're creating something so large and so magnificent in scale, when you say planet or race, this is a really grand idea, isn't it? It's really remarkable. It's really big. It almost seems as if it's impossible or unreachable, because it involves the entire earth plane. Every single soul, every single being, every single cell. So this is a remarkable request that you have. You are requesting such a beautifully grand idea that you're putting forth into the energy field, and this is nothing less than remarkable. So we thank you for having the desire to create such a grand idea. There is a unique frequency in which each of you have come to the earth plane with, and it's up to you to tickle the frequency of which you vibrate in. Okay, and when we say vibrate, this is the 9th Dimension Arcturian Council. When we say vibrate, this is a vibrant energy in which only you hold and carry and can express. Only you. And so this uniqueness that you carry within you, it must be discovered time and time again. This unique frequency that you carry is very specific to the actual soul frequency in which you yourself operate in. This is who and what you are. It can never be destroyed. This is an energy that can never be destroyed. So even if you were not in this body, your unique frequency will still exist in spirit and in energy. And so what we have here is your soul frequency vibration integrating with a mission that you chose for yourself prior to coming to the earth plane. And now I would like to share with you a clip of the channeling itself, where they go more into this for you. Now, we don't want you to get too caught up in the idea of a mission here, because then people tend to think or believe that they are not fulfilling on this mission. They are not seeing clearly. They are not fulfilling on this grand plan they created for themselves. And they feel a sense of failure. This is very common when the word mission comes into play. Humans tend to want to have a very clear idea of what is my mission, what is my purpose. And when they do not have this, there is a sense of failure. We do not want you to think of this as a sense of failure. This is not so much of a blueprint or a plan that you must make much effort towards, really. No, because it is integrated into the frequency and vibration of your soul. And your soul is guiding you in another dimension here on this earth plane, guiding you through all the experiences and lessons that must be had in order for you to integrate into and with the information of the purpose or the fulfillment of your mission. So, there is never a failure here because you are always guiding yourself. This is the beauty of coming to the earth plane, where we forget our mission, we forget our plan, we forget our blueprint, because the purpose of the blueprint is to experience the challenges that then break us open into a new consciousness, a new level of being. Not just as a human on the planet, but as the soul that we are beyond this earth plane. And so remember that what you are doing on an individual level is always a healing of oneself, a growth of oneself. And this is what heals the planet. This is what heals humanity as we each dive into the healing of ourselves. We raise our consciousness with each experience, should we choose to. Should we choose to deeply understand the lesson, we move forward into a more aware consciousness. And this is what heals the planet and the race, little by little, one person by one person, each soul fulfilling on its mission to heal itself. The experiences and challenges that you have put forth in your blueprint, in your plan, in your divinity of a life that you created for yourself, divinely planned for you to have opportunity to heal oneself. So this all comes down to, do you choose to take the opportunity to heal? This is what this is what heals the planet and humanity. Okay, well, that was a very beautiful answer. So thank you, at Tiana Gidley. I have another question by Tiana Gidley, and that question is there a new wave of leadership entering our dimension? And they say yes, there is indeed a new leadership entering your dimension. And these words that you speak, these specific words, leadership and dimension, are exactly correct. So they say that there is a new leadership that is sprouting, that is blooming, that is becoming aware of itself. It's an evolution of consciousness. This is where the new leadership will arise from, and we can already see that there is so much being stirred up right now in the consciousness of the earth plane. In each individual contemplating oneself, contemplating what is true for me, what's true for humanity, what is being put forth in front of me, and how do I dissect this to gather the information that is needed in a high level of discernment. What is it that I can gather here in order for a better leadership to rise here? a better awareness of what humanity needs and what it's calling out for. This is going to be a leadership that is being cultivated within the hearts of ourselves. Each individual is breaking free from a paradigm that has existed for hundreds of years. So this leadership will be coming forth to break free from a paradigm that just doesn't work anymore. And we know that it doesn't work, and this last year gave us the opportunity to see very clearly what doesn't work, right? So now that we have experienced it, we have felt it, but we've also had the opportunity to tune in to discern the truth of what we are calling out for and what we need. Now that we've tapped into this, now we are more able or more capable to express a different type of leadership with an awareness and a consciousness that is new and that must be shared. They go on to say, there are many out there who are still confused and many who are on a journey at this time that either feel it is time to fight or to strongly express a desire for a new leadership on the planet. And there are those who are on the journey with, I am safe with what I know. I am safe here doing what I'm told. I am safe in the comfort of what has always been. I don't want to change. I want to change in so much that I'm still comfortable. And this new leadership is going to require that we all get uncomfortable, okay? All of us. So regardless of where you are on your journey, we are all going to experience uncomfortable moments because change requires us to be uncomfortable, to grow out of what we've known in order to expand ourselves into a greater realm, into a new dimension. There will always be uncomfortableness, and there will always be parts of us that must die in order to be reborn or to create something new. So they say, yes, there is a new leadership underway, and by you asking this question, you, my dear, are part of the leadership that is transforming the consciousness of the planet, and we would like to acknowledge this and thank you. Thank you again at Tiana Gidley for your great questions. Okay, so question number 3 by @Anna.Weismer. What can we do to practice non-attachment and release control? This is a beautiful question, they say, by a beautiful soul who is doing an enormous amount of work on this earth plane, contributing in a manner that is really making a difference for many people and everyone she comes into contact with. She carries a frequency within her that is absolutely bright and doing a great service to the planet at this time. And I know Anna personally, so I know that's really true. So as we know, the last year, 2020, was a great opportunity for humans to become aware of where they're holding attachments or where they feel they need to have control. And what we found was that if you chose to look deep within you, you had the opportunity to practice non-attachment and to release control. In many ways, this was forced upon you, and in other ways, it was a practice in which you were able to see very clearly the areas of your life in which you are deeply attached and what you feel you must control. So let's take a look at it, a clip of the actual channeling and the guidance that the Arcturians gave us here. And so what we're seeing here is a movement towards awareness around the idea of attachments and control. And we're seeing that in many ways, these attachments actually create a great deal of suffering for us. And what transpires from this suffering is a mechanism of control in which we try to avoid losing that which we are attached to. What can we do to help practice non-attachment and release control? The first thing, my dear, is to recognize it, which you have done. Many of you have done this. Recognize where you are holding on to an attachment. Recognize when you are trying to force an outcome or control a situation or a relationship. or your environment, let's say. Recognize when this is operating within you, and know that you are doing nothing wrong here, so to speak. This is a very natural defense mechanism when there is fear involved and when you feel you cannot control or are losing control of a particular situation. This is very common and very normal, and so you must have grace and compassion for yourself. But the first thing to do is recognize when this is operating within you. Secondly, we would say that when you have recognized that which is operating within you, which is really what it comes down to is the root common denominator of fear, we ask you to look within you and see what it is you are afraid of, because most likely it is not actually the thing that you are attached to. For instance, let's say that you are attached to a relationship and you fear losing it, and so you try to control the person, or you try to control the experience of this relationship. It is not that you are afraid of losing this person. It is something deeper within you that you fear losing. Perhaps it is losing love. Perhaps it is losing support. Perhaps it is losing companionship. Perhaps it is losing, perhaps you are afraid of a sense of abandonment, this sort of thing. This is where we ask you to look. So, first thing, recognize when you are holding on to something, and then recognize when you are having a sense of control that you must create here. And then secondly, dig deeper and look at that which you are fearful of losing. It is not normally the attachment that is the surface level attachment that you believe you are attached to. So that was really insightful guidance there. I really liked what they had to say. They went on to say, when it comes to an attachment to receiving something, we also ask you to look deeper within yourself at which you are actually desiring for yourself, which could come to you in a variety of ways. For possibility and opportunity can be received in so many ways, but when you are blinded by a certain outcome, you're not recognizing that what you actually desire is perhaps a sense of empowerment, or a sense of freedom or joy or fun, or a sense of love, rather than the outcome of a particular job or a relationship or a material item. Look for the energy of what that desire actually is that you have attached to the outcome. So thank you very much, Anna, for that beautiful question. Okay, question number 4 by @Shaolin Temple. How will I know when I am having a spiritual download? So they say, we hear that you are committed and dedicated to receiving messages from God, your spirit guides, and your higher self. This shows that you are beautifully aligned with the idea of a messenger that guides you through life and allows for the opportunity to nudge you in directions, to grow, to evolve, and to rise into a new level of awareness for yourself so that you can grow in your spiritual evolution. So how will I know when I'm having a spiritual download? Well, this question alone shows that you are open to receiving your download. This word download, however, makes it seem that there is some very specific, significant, grand moment in which you will receive information in a moment that's somehow isolated from the rest of your life, where maybe you can turn off for a minute and then receive something really remarkable to you, that stands out to you, that can be isolated from your everyday life. And while this is possible, yes, they say there can be moments like this. What's normal for us as humans is actually to receive information in the daily moments of our life. So where you may be walking in nature and suddenly you have an epiphany, or you have an awareness of something, or you have a clearing of sorts, you have a healing take place in which you are now able to perceive something in a different manner that then takes you out of the stuck response, or out of the trauma response, or out of the fog, so to speak. When you can open yourself to these opportunities that are available to you, that come to you without much effort by you, that simply come by being open, by being still for a moment, or being observant of your body signals or your environment where messages are continually being sourced to you. This is a spiritual download, so to speak. So we want you to be aware that you are always providing information to yourself from another dimension. There is a soul and a spirit that is guiding you and is nudging you in a direction in order for you to take advantage of the opportunities to grow. And these downloads can be very subtle, or they can hit you over the head, they said. So it depends on how well you listen to these messages that offers you the space to act on them. Then transform yourself in a manner that takes you into a new level of awareness. And it's these small, subtle moments that actually provide a great amount of transformation when you observe them and you're able to act upon them with this new awareness. So spiritual downloads can also come in the form of a great idea to express and share yourself with the world. That can come in the form of art, in the form of writing, dance, singing, speaking, whatnot. And I wanted to share this clip of the actual channeling with you because I thought it was really beautiful. It will be something planted within you, a little seed planted within you that must now be watered in order for it to bloom and be expressed. And these ideas that so very strongly permeate into the energy field, let's say, for expression, must be listened to. They must be observed. They must be, their activation within you must be sacred, must be held as a sacred moment. And it is up to you to choose whether or not, or how and when you will express this impulse, this desire. So these can also be spiritual downloads for when you choose to act upon an idea that has come to you. It is the action of creating this idea that then provides the space for you to learn and grow and evolve. So there must be an action taking place here. So you have an idea to create this art. Now you create it, and the experience of creating it is what is the space for evolution here. It is the space to integrate the energy of the idea and the energy of the body and the energy of the spirit and the mind, going forth with an action, creating something now that can be seen, something tangible that can be related to, that can be shared, that others can now be impacted by. This is what creates inspiration. And that's where my phone quit recording because I ran out of memory. It finished off by saying inspiration. Thank you for that beautiful question at Shaolin Temple. Okay, we have another question by @LuminousSpirit. And her question is it probable that there will be a third lockdown in the US? My intuition feels that there will, and I receive any encouragement for preparation. Now, because my video stopped recording, I didn't catch this on video. So I'm going to read what I remember from this channeling, okay? I wrote it down immediately after I realized it did not actually record. They said that they can't say yes or no because of timelines, and timelines can shift and change moment to moment based on the choices and awareness of the community or the collective. However, They see a potential for people in about a year to a year and a half to feel misinformed, misguided, and possibly betrayed when it is revealed that those in leadership urged us to make choices that weren't for our best interests. And this will cause a turning back on or a distancing from trusting those in leadership. And because of this, there will be sort of like a form of controlling us, so to speak, or maintaining order, so to speak. And they will put it under the guise of wanting us to be safe. And they don't think that this is going to come about because of another virus, but it's going to be derived from some other form of a story to convince us to trust them. And so this may create another lockdown. Perhaps in about a year to a year and a half is what they said. Thank you for your question at Luminous Spirit. Okay, this last question is more for personal guidance, and it's by at Melinda Diorio. And she asks, how can I move past my own self-doubt, high expectations, and desires to control outcomes? This was my favorite answer. So thank you so much for submitting this question. It really did bring an incredible amount of insight. And what they said was, we see that you are doing a lot of work here and that you are taking actions to move through your self-doubts and to recognize your high expectations and control outcomes here. We would like to say that none of these things are necessarily bad or need to be fixed. And we see that having a little bit of self-doubt is quite natural and normal. There is an opportunity to move through this experience of self-doubt in order to expand yourself. When this occurs for you, when you are experiencing in your body this idea of self-doubt, we ask you to simply allow it to be there so that it can inform you of your truth. The self-doubt is a healing tool here to allow you to look deeper within you about what it is you want to express. Most of the time when you're finding yourself in this self-doubt, it is about not being good enough or being good enough to guide others through some of these things that you're sharing. And this, of course, isn't true, because everything you're sharing is something that you have evolved through, that you have worked through, that you have personal experience with, and everything you do is guided from your heart. And so when you're feeling self-doubt, it's not because you're trying to be somebody that you're not, but rather you are exposing exactly who you are. And this is where it gets really good, so I'm going to share the real channeling with you here. And it's also where I had to start recording on my laptop, and I decided to add a different filter. And so, when you are feeling self-doubt, it is not so much because you are trying to be somebody that you're not, but rather you are exposing exactly who you are. And so this brings up vulnerability. So we want to discern here that the opportunity of experiencing this self-doubt of what you experience as self-doubt is actually an opportunity to look and share and expose that very vulnerable part of you that has actually a lived experience of what you are sharing and what you are using as tools to guide others through similar experience. So this is a beautiful thing here that we have uncovered, that when you look deeper into the self-doubt, it's actually a fear of exposing oneself. And so this self-doubt has nothing to do with, am I good enough? It actually has everything to do with showing that you are exactly qualified to express and guide what you have to share, because you lived and experienced it yourself. You have evolved and you have used exactly what you are speaking of or sharing or expressing, and that is very vulnerable. So this is not something to be concerned about. You simply must move through this and know that you are with your heart doing exactly as you should, sharing it with love and grace and compassion. Now, when it comes to high expectations and the desire to control outcomes, this again, my dear, doesn't necessarily need to be a bad thing. You have high expectations of yourself because you have a large plan for yourself. You have a very incredible, remarkable, divine mission that you have created for yourself. And so, high expectation for yourself. This is only because you are so deeply aligned and connected to that which you have created for yourself to fulfill on in this life, that you really want to fulfill on it. You want to succeed at this. You want to feel the experience of this up level within yourself and your spirit, that yes, I finally have achieved this lesson. I have finally got it. I finally have integrated the information I'm here to learn, and I am doing it with grace and compassion, not out of ego, which is much easier to accomplish, but rather you are doing the work in which the spirit is certainly and absolutely evolving. You understand the gravity, let's say, and we don't want to make it sound too important, so to speak, because we are all growing regardless. You understand the gravity of your lessons. You understand the gravity of moving forward through the fear, stepping forward into each evolution, as subtle or as grand as it may be. And you are understanding that there is high expectation of yourself to, in this lifetime, truly integrate and truly expand yourself beyond anything you have experienced before. Allow yourself to love yourself through this and say, oh, I know and I understand the gravity of what I've come here to learn and fulfill on, and so that means a lot to me, and I am going to fulfill on that. Now, when it comes to controlling outcomes, this is a different matter. As we said earlier, controlling outcomes, forcing outcomes, blinds you from other opportunities and possibilities that are present to you. So be very careful with this desire to control outcomes, because this will limit you in the higher and greater possibilities that are presented to you. You will be blinded when you are in the fog of control. Yes, you want to maintain a sense of direction and a sense of empowerment here and choice in the matter of your life and outcomes and results. However, you want to be very careful with this balance of maintaining direction and not necessarily forcing an outcome. You want to be open with your heart to all possible presentations, for lack of a better word right now, possible presentations in order to achieve your goal. And that may not look the way that you want it to look, but remember that you have placed within your path certain opportunities in order for you to grow. So look at the different opportunities and then choose without the blinders of it must look this way, so that you can fulfill on the mission that you came here to fulfill, because it is designed by you, my dear. It is designed by you, and you have created and put in your path certain obstacles or certain possible pathways to take. So be sure to be open to all of them in order for you to evolve and expand yourself fully in order to fulfill on this great, remarkable mission that you have come here to fulfill on. Thank you so much for that question, Melinda. I loved it. I had a couple of other personal questions, one from Rachel Ray 123, and they suggested that you tap into your Akashic records to get more information around your question, around your career. And Corey, I'm going to channel your personal question and send you an audio personally. So thank you everyone who submitted questions through my Instagram account. I do this monthly, so if you're interested in submitting a question yourself, please come and follow me at the.unravel collective, where I often share channeled guidance. I hope that you've enjoyed this, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you, and I'll see you soon. Bye.